Kivin had spent 347 days aboard the HFY vessel, and in all that time, he had never once been permitted to leave the crystalline chamber that served as his quarters. The walls hummed with a frequency just below human hearing, a constant reminder that he was not home, that Earth was now 17 light-years away, and that his captivity, however comfortable, was absolute. The HFY had found him drifting in an escape pod after the mining station on Kepler 442b had suffered a catastrophic decompression. He had been the only survivor. Their ship, a living structure grown rather than built, had engulfed his pod like a cellular organism consuming nutrients. Kivin had expected death, or at worst, dissection. What he received instead was something far stranger: hospitality. The Queen herself had come to him on the third day. She stood nearly 3 meters tall, her exoskeleton shifting through colors that human eyes couldn't quite process, something between violet and a sound, if sound could be seen. Her multiple limbs moved with liquid grace, and her face, if it could be called that, held too many eyes arranged in a pattern that suggested both insect and something entirely other. "You are unharmed," she had said, the words forming not in the air but directly in his mind, translated by the nanite colony they had introduced to his bloodstream. "You will remain unharmed. You are precious." That word had haunted Kivin for months. Precious, like a gem or a specimen or a pet. He learned their language slowly, painfully, through the neural interface. He learned that the HFY were an old species, so old that they had forgotten the planet of their origin. They traveled the galaxy in their bioships, studying, cataloging, preserving. They collected representatives of species they deemed ascending, civilizations on the cusp of something greater or on the edge of extinction. Humanity, apparently, qualified on both counts. Anna was the reason he learned their language at all. She was the Queen's offspring, though child seemed inadequate for a being already larger than Kivin, with cognitive capabilities that made human genius look like fumbling in the dark. But she was young by HFY standards, barely 30 standard years old, and she had become fascinated by the human. She visited him daily, pressing her primary sensory appendage against the transparent barrier of his chamber, her thought voice full of questions. Why do humans require so much sleep? Why do you eat dead organic matter instead of synthesizing nutrients? Why does your species form pair bonds? Why do you cry? That last question had come after Kivin had broken down one evening, overcome by the weight of his isolation, the knowledge that everyone he had known was dead, that Earth continued without him, that he might never feel natural gravity or breathe unfiltered air again. Anna had vibrated with what he came to recognize as distress. "I have caused you pain. I am sorry. Is that the correct term, sorry?" "Yes," Kivin had whispered, "that's correct." From that day, something changed. Anna brought him things, artifacts from other species, bioluminescent flora from worlds he'd never heard of, even a small device that could project Earth's sky as it had looked the day he'd left. She tried, in her alien way, to make him less alone. The Queen noticed, of course. She noticed everything. "My child has become attached," she said during one of her rare visits. "This is problematic. We do not form attachments to our subjects of study." "I'm not a subject," Kivin had replied, surprising himself with his boldness. "I'm a person." The Queen's colors had shifted to something like amusement. "Yes, that is precisely the problem." 347 days. And then, without warning, the Queen came to his chamber and the walls dissolved around him. "You may leave," she said simply. Kivin stared at her, unable to process the words. "What?" "We have learned what we needed to learn from you. More importantly, my child has learned what she needed to learn. You have taught her empathy, Kivin of Earth. You have taught her to see persons where she once saw only specimens. This is valuable. This is worth the price of your freedom." The Queen gestured with 2 of her 4 major limbs, and the space before them rippled. Through the distortion, Kivin could see a small craft, human in design or close enough, suspended in a launching bay. We are currently in the Tau Ceti system. The human colony on Tau Ceti E is 12 hours flight in that vessel. You have been provided with supplies, navigational data, and compensation for your time. We will ensure you arrive safely. Kivend's heart hammered against his ribs. Freedom. Home or close enough to it. He started toward the craft, his legs unsteady after so long in the ship's adjusted gravity. He had made it halfway across the launching bay when he heard it. Kivend. He froze. The voice was wrong, too high, formed by organs never meant for human speech, but the word was unmistakable. His name, spoken aloud instead of mind to mind, shaped by effort and care and something that sounded desperately like grief. He turned. Anna stood at the edge of the bay, her massive form trembling. Behind her, the queen had gone utterly still, her colors muted to near gray. Kivend, don't go. Anna's spoken words were halting, imperfect. She had been practicing for how long? Please, I will miss you. Is that correct? Miss you. The queen moved forward, placing one limb on her daughter's carapace. Anna, we discussed this. He is not ours to keep. He belongs to himself, to his own people. But he is my friend. Anna's multiple eyes fixed on Kivend, and in them, despite their alien structure, despite the impossibility of reading emotion across such a vast biological divide, he saw something unmistakably human. Loss, fear, hope. Are you not my friend, Kivend? 347 days. 347 days of captivity, of loneliness, of longing for home. 347 days of Anna's visits, her questions, her attempts to understand him, her gifts, her apologies, her efforts to pronounce his name with a mouth never designed for human language. Kivend looked at the ship that would take him to the colony, to other humans, to the possibility of returning to Earth someday. Then he looked at Anna, this alien child who had learned empathy by watching him grieve, who had learned friendship by being his only companion in the void. I am your friend, he said quietly. Anna's colors exploded into brilliant patterns, joy, unmistakable and pure. Kivend turned to the queen. If I choose to stay, would I still be a prisoner? The queen's colors shifted through a spectrum he was still learning to read. Surprise, perhaps, or respect. No, she said finally. If you choose to stay, you would be crew, family. We would teach you our sciences, our histories. We would show you wonders your species will not discover for millennia. And when you wish to leave, when you truly wish to leave, we will take you wherever you desire. You would trust me. My daughter trusts you, that is enough. Kivend closed his eyes, thinking of Earth, of the life he'd lost. Then he thought of Anna, practicing human speech in private, trying to pronounce his name. He thought of the queen, releasing him despite the scientific value he represented. He thought of the stars he might see, the things he might learn, the bridge he might become between humanity and something greater. He opened his eyes and walked back toward them. Anna made a sound like music played through wind chimes. You are staying. I'm staying, Kivend said. But Anna, I need you to understand something. Someday I will go home. Not today, maybe not for years, but someday. I understand, Anna said, her thought voice warm in his mind even as she struggled with spoken words. But today you are here. Today you are my friend. Today, Kivend agreed, I am here. The queen's colors settled into something that might have been satisfaction. She turned and began moving deeper into the ship, and Anna followed, with Kivend walking beside her. Behind them, the human craft sat silent in the bay, waiting for a passenger who would not come. Not yet, not today. In the void between stars, in a ship grown from living crystal, a human and an alien child walked together into the unknown, and somewhere in the darkness, the universe became just a little bit smaller, just a little bit less lonely.